Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining my talk about incident management. So when I was in high school, the common belief was that if you actively listen in class, you'll have 50% of the exam prep already in your pocket. And I want to show you how I adopted this belief to an actual proactive approach that you could take that will help you manage incidents more efficiently in a more structured way, which I will also cover in this talk, and eventually preserve much needed hours of sleep. But first of all, hi, my name is Hila Fish. I'm a senior DevOps engineer and I work for Wix. I have 15 years of experience in tech industry, which means a lot of production incidents that I managed. And I can say a lot of things about myself, but we have only 20 minutes to cover this topic, which I have a lot of things to say about it. So let's get right to it. So the agenda for this talk is, first of all, cover the mindset needed to really manage incidents, then understand the incident flow and which questions we can ask ourselves in order to continue to the next phase of managing the incident, and then being proactive in our day-to-day and after an incident took place that will help us in a way that will help us come prepared for incidents. So first of all, we need to understand what our incident management processes are, right? So incident management is a set of procedures and actions taken to resolve critical incidents. So basically, it is an end-to-end process that defines how incidents are detected and communicated, who is responsible to handle them, what tools are used for investigation and response, and what steps are taken for a resolution. The thing here is that we really need to understand that our perspective is needed to be reframed when it comes to incidents. And why is that? Because not all pages that we have from OpsGenie, PagerDuty, becomes an incident. An incident is when we have loss in revenue, customers, data, and more. So we need to understand that not all page is an incident, and that's why we need to treat whatever happens properly and appropriately. So basically, if we don't have an incident management process, then it could mean that once we have an incident, we can potentially lose valuable data. Downtime could lose to reduced productivity and revenues loss, and business could be held liable for breach of service level agreements, SLAs. So it means that whenever we have something going on and we say, hey, we need to fix it, right? So we don't need to stay in this putting out files ad hoc approach. We need to have a structured process and basically rely on the business mindset that we should evolve every day that we work for that company. So we should not only think about the systems that we are managing, but also understand the why, because everything that happens affects the business somehow. So we need to understand what is the overall impact of the incident and mitigate damages accordingly. And in order to mitigate damages accordingly, we need to have a structured process to manage incidents. Yes. So before I cover the structured process, I want to cover another thing that is related to the mindset. So a really important thing that we need to always understand and remind ourselves is that everything fails all the time. Who said that? AWS CTO, Warner Vogels. Actually, I say it too, but first of all, I think it's odd to quote yourself. And then another thing is that I don't have much credit like AWS CTO, so here we go. He said that. So basically, everything fails all the time. Production systems, development environments, pipelines, things that we build, things that we buy, these systems that are that we base our monitoring and knowledge to see if production is down or not. System monitoring tools could also fail, right? Everything fails, and even us as human beings, we need to crash and go to sleep. This is also kind of a failure. So everything fails all the time. And since incidents are basically mayhem by nature, we still need to have this grasping of everything fails all the time and say, okay, failures are a given. So that's why we can't be in an ad hoc manner and putting out files mindset. We should say that, okay, this happened, but I'm prepared to deal with it. So that's why we need to have structured process of an incident, okay? So a structured process of an incident could lead to incident prevention, improved mean time to resolution, MTTR, cost reduction, downtime could be reduced or eliminated entirely, and preserve our business customers and reputation. So this is the big pillars that we have for incident structure. I took it from on page, but basically it's something that I did throughout my career and just didn't divide it as such, but now I can show you that it is like that. So we have basically 5 pillars: identify and categorize, notify and escalate, investigate and diagnose, resolve and recovery, and incident closure, which is also a pillar on its own. There are things to be done also when the incident gets closed. So let's cover each one. First of all, you need to really understand that during an incident, you should keep calm and ask things in order to progress towards the incident resolution. But there are 2 types of people, right? People that say, hey, keep calm, I'm an engineer. Or the people that say, I can't keep calm, I'm an engineer, right? But I say that if you keep calm, and you can keep calm if you ask yourselves the questions that I'm gonna show you, that will help you progress towards the incident resolution. So, first of all, the first pillar is identify and categorize. So the first question is, do I understand the full extent of the problem and business impact? If so, great, dive in and notify people, which is the next phase. Or if not, I should gather more information, because let's say you have an alert, but you're not sure what is the effect. This is exactly the business impact, the business mindset that you should have, and ask the why. So always understand what is the full extent of the problem and what is the impact. Also check if this incident or alert could wait and be handled in business hours. If you're not sure, then ask. Use the information that you have, escalate if need be, and if the alert is not really good, you can change severity and run book accordingly to make sure it fits whatever you understood that needs to be. If it can wait and you got an alert that is critical, it needs to be modified. And another question, was I notified about this issue from the proper or expected channels like Ops Genie? If so, great. If not, if I got the issue from escalation from a user, for example, this is not good, because we don't want to have user complaints. We want to know about the issues upfront or as much as possible, because this is not a good user experience that they need to tell us that something is wrong. So if I got notified properly, that's great. If not, you should add a note to self, aka a Jira ticket, to fix that later. Next up, you will have the notify and escalate pillar. So the question here is, who should be notified about this incident? We have 2 paths, during the incident and in general. So during the incident, you should decide by incident importance. So maybe we should alert support or customer success, because they need to communicate the incident to customers. And in general, you should ask, you should check maybe other teams or key focal points care about the systems, because let's say they rely on that system for their flows or something like that. So you should keep them posted about the system's health and status. And another question that you should ask is, does this incident need escalation for other teams for resolution, or for support or customer facing for FYI? Escalation is not only for it's not only on notify basis, like you need to know, but escalate for resolution as well. So you need to decide which type of escalation is needed for FYI, for resolution, or both, and do it accordingly. Next pillar is investigate and diagnose. So the question here is, what information is relevant towards incident resolution? You should focus on what's important and relevant right now, because focusing on the non-relevant will throw you off route and make you lose valuable time during debugging. And if, let's say, you have a flow that is comprises of a lot of moving parts, you need to focus on the relevant phase, because let's say you escalate someone to help you, they don't need to know the entire chain of the flow, right? You can say, hey, this system is expected to talk to X is failing, or I can't reach X, help me here. Okay, so always focus on what's important at this moment, because it will save you time later on. Another question is, did I find the root cause, and do I understand the root cause? If so, great. If not, then you should investigate more and escalate if it takes long. Why escalate if it takes long? Because of business mindset. You should avoid breaching SLAs. And you should prioritize root causes over surface level symptoms, because you need to understand which possible remediation steps can be determined, and to expose any underlying issues. So if you have an alert of a service that crashed and you just go and start it. Maybe for the first time it is okay, but if it happens again, even if it's crucial in the middle of the night, check it, the root cause. If not, then make sure it gets investigated, because we don't want to hide any issues. We want to expose the underlying issue. The fourth pillar is resolve and recovery. So the question here is, which possible remediation step is the best one to take? So and the thing is that we want to choose the fastest solution to eliminate downtime without compromising systems health and stability. Why fast? Because we want to go back to sleep, but also because of business mindset. We want the service to be up and running as soon as possible. But make sure that if you do it quick and dirty, then permanently fix it, which leads me to my next question. Any action items are needed after resolving the issue. So if you decided in the middle of the night you can fix it right now, that's okay. We did a patch. Now make sure it is permanently fixed, because a patch is just a patch. It's not stable for our system. We want to make sure that it is being permanently fixed. And we want to prevent the recurring issue from happening again. So if you found that it is something that you can prevent, please do it, for you to not wake up again, but also for system to be stable, and for the business to not waste more money or resources of people or systems working overtime to handle the incidents that are recurring. So if you can prevent recurring issues, that's great. And last but not least, closure of the incident. So once the issue got finished, do I need to notify anyone on the incident resolution? Because we need to be end-to-end communicators. So if you notified customer support, now tell them, hey, the issues should be now resolved. Please communicate to the users and tell them that now it should be okay, and please let us know if it's not the case. So be an end-to-end communicator, because it's very important. Check if the alerts are okay. If not, and they need to be tweaked, please fix it to make sure that you get alerted properly. Check if there is a relevant incident runbook in place, and if it is outdated, maybe it needs updates. So if there is no incident runbook and it could be worthwhile to add one, please do, and make sure that it is, if there is one, make sure it is updated, because I had times where I followed a runbook until it's half, and then after half it wasn't updated anymore, and then I updated it afterwards. So make sure you check it is updated properly. Can I help prevent similar incidents from happening again? I mentioned it before, recurring issues, but maybe not recurring. Let's say during the debugging, you saw that log rotate on the server that you checked doesn't work properly. Okay, if you fix it, you can prevent incidents from happening. So check and to see if something can be prevented. And does this incident require a postmortem? If so, jot down the notes as soon as possible while it is still fresh in your mind, because then the postmortem meeting will be much more in higher quality, because people will remember more details. And even if a postmortem is not needed, share the knowledge anyway through a runbook, through a daily brief, because people can learn from what you did. They can learn about the flows. They can learn about from the line of thought that you had. So please share the knowledge. And a little bit about war room conduct. So war room is when you have an incident that needs more than, let's say, 4, 5, 6 people to handle the incident. So in that case, you really should have an incident manager. And I will first share a story. So in one of my previous companies, I was new at that company. It was during COVID. And there was a big incident, and I was just planning to join the war room, which was a Zoom meeting, just as if to be a fly on the wall to learn what's going on. And then I joined. I kept quiet for 10 minutes, but then I saw the people just rambling. They talk about this. He pushes to this this direction. He pulls to this direction, and nothing happens. Nothing goes towards a solution. And then I unmuted myself and I said, hey guys, I have to step in. Nothing seems to be, nothing works. Nothing is progressing towards resolution. So basically I took upon myself the incident manager role. I divided the work. I told people what to do. I was calm and collected, and I saw things clearly because I understood. I heard what they said before, and I collected the relevant information. And I wasn't afraid to reduce people's involvement if it doesn't serve the purpose. So if someone was there only to, do X, and then that's it, I told them to either go away or mute themselves and not unmute until he's really, really needed again. So keep it minimal and dynamic. And if someone is not needed anymore, they can go. So that's very, very important in regards to war room, because you want to make sure the incident gets resolved as soon as possible. So we covered the mindset, we covered the incident flow. Now let's cover how you can be proactive and come prepared for incidents. And why is that? Because PagerDuty or OpsGenie or VictorOps or whatever tool that you're using doesn't really care if you're ready or not, like the Fuji song, ready or not, here they come, you can't hide. That's exactly it. It doesn't really matter if you're ready or not, they will come, they will find you. So might as well come prepared. So what can we do better? The proactive approach after an incident took place, on-call shifts handoffs, basically write handoffs and summaries for the on-call shifts that you had for audit purposes, but also for team member success, so they would know what happened during the on-call, if there were recurring issues, something that they need to know about, so cover and write it after your shift. Post-mortem notes, as I mentioned, write them as soon as possible, so the meeting will be more efficient. New tasks, if you can prevent the next incident and stabilize the environment, please open Jira tickets to do that after the incident. Modify alerts. If you saw false positives or anything that needs to be tweaked, please fix it yourself. Don't wait for the on-call to do it, the next on-call, because they will wait for the next on-call, they will wait for the next on-call, and then it wouldn't happen. So please fix it yourself. Incident runbooks. If you have runbooks in place, please update them if there are not already any, so please write them as well. Automation, if you can detect any candidates for self-remediation, then you can do it and basically have things get resolved on their own. And if the issue got handled, share the knowledge. Even if post-mortem is not needed, share the knowledge. It's really, really important because people can gain from it, learn application flows, learn from your line of thought. And basically, that's it after effect. The most important thing for me is in your day-to-day, okay? So on-call shift handoffs, I mentioned it before, but the thing here is to read in an ongoing basis all on-call shifts handoffs that other team members will write, because production happens all the time, and your way to understand what's going on in there is through these handoffs. So make sure you read it. It shouldn't be long. It should be like a paragraph and that's it. Read it. You'll be much more in the know of what's going on in production, even when you're not on call. Escalation point of contacts. So let's say you know the needed pieces of information related to your realm. My realm is infrastructure. So I said that you should know other realms as well and have the full picture. So let's say there's an issue with X, okay? I've checked my side and I don't see any issue, but I know that John is the one that is handling X from the side of code, from development side. So I should escalate to him to check things. So identifying services escalation points on a day-to-day basis and not only ad hoc when the incident occurs will save time and money on incident management, and also save someone else's hours of sleep, because maybe I need to wake my team leader up to ask who's responsible for X, and it's not nice. So you can detect these people in an ongoing manner, and then once you get to an incident, you know exactly who to escalate to. Understand systems architecture. So if you know the weaker areas or vulnerabilities and sensitive blast radius scopes of systems, then you know what's prone to fail and have a go to fix it. Learn application flows. It will help with troubleshooting, because then I know what needs to be checked, and it will contribute to methodical debugging and for business impact, because we know what escalation is needed. Team members' tasks. It's very easy for me to focus only on my tasks, but production, again, changes all the time, even through other team members' tasks. So you should get involved, be aware of latest changes that could rock the boat, and learn how their tasks affect production. Same goes for deployments or changes to production. Ask them about the change and its possible impact. because OpsGenie or PagerDuty doesn't care if you didn't do the change anywhere yourself. It will call you anyway if you're on call. So get familiar with what's going on. And bonus, be a go-to person. If you build it, they will come, get push notifications, people will come to you, and it will decrease the need to fetch the updates on your own. So basically, that's the thing, talk the talk and walk the walk when it comes to incident management. Make the process structured, be proactive, and then you'll come prepared to any incident that will cross through your way and prevent the next incident from happening. And remember, less incidents means less downtime, means business success, and business success is your success. Thank you very much.